The United States is entering a recession. What does this mean for real estate prices here in San Francisco? What's up YouTube? My name is Restrepo and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So before we jump into the subject, let's define what a recession is. A recession is defined as 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. Here in the Bay Area, we've already started to see a considerable amount of layoffs in the tech industry. We also know that the stock market is off to its worst start in 50 years, and interest rates have skyrocketed. So with all that is going on right now, what does this mean for the real estate market? In my opinion, prices will come down. But don't get me wrong, I am not expecting a full-on crash. Now, in a world of possibilities, everything is possible, but let's look at the probabilities. For all the millennials out there, I'm going to show you a quick chart which shows us the past 40 years of market dynamics in the Bay Area. So in the past 40 years, we have had 4 dips in the market. Out of those 4 dips, one was a full-on crash. If you look here, back in 1989, we had the San Francisco earthquake, which wreaked a lot of havoc on the city. It even destroyed the Oakland East Bay Bridge. That caused prices to drop by around 11%. So this is a natural disaster we're speaking of. Then we had the dot-com bubble. In the Bay Area as a whole, prices dropped by about 5%. Not very much considering that this is a tech-centered city, and some of these stocks saw a decrease of 70, 80%. Some companies fully went under. That was later followed by the 2008 great financial crash, which impacted the entire United States, some areas more than other, and one could argue that the Bay Area actually saw a very minimal decrease in home values. And that brings us to 2020. We had the shortest recession of all time, which was caused by the pandemic. I'm sure a lot of you all remember that one. But this did not cause a decrease in prices. Quite the opposite happened. So what is this recession and why are we going into a recession right now? We have to factor that what we're seeing today is because of inflation. The Federal Reserve has printed a lot of money and now they're starting to do the opposite and they're reducing their balance sheet, which is quantitative tightening. So in essence, what the Federal Reserve is doing is the opposite of what they were doing last year. They went from quantitative easing to quantitative tightening. And they're literally trying to drop down values of stocks, of crypto, of real estate, pretty much everything as a whole, because the richer the consumer feels, the more they're gonna go out and spend. And we all know that we've had the supply chain issues. So the more money people have and less goods and services available to us, the more prices will continue to go up. So to combat this, we know that the Federal Reserve has started to increase rates in order to push demand back. So this is causing inventory to start to build and build and build. Now, this doesn't mean a full-on crash. This just means that as a buyer, you'll have a lot more options to choose from. Now, assuming inflation gets under control, I would expect that this recession is not going to last more than 12 to 18 months, which may lead for some really good buying opportunities for those buyers out there that can still afford to buy a home. In a recession, you also want to take advantage of the fact that the people that are selling probably have to sell. And this isn't necessarily because of a foreclosure, but it might be because of, current family circumstances. So it's actually a really good time to take advantage of opportunities that come up because of what's happening in the market. We also know that in the Bay Area, the fall is usually when we see the most amount of inventory on the market. So if we couple that with the fact that we're in a recession, there's gonna be some amazing opportunities out there for people that can buy. Now, obviously during a recession, some terrible things happen. People lose jobs, some companies cease to exist, and it's just the economy kind of running its course. But there are a lot of opportunities out there for those of you that have been on the sidelines thinking, hey, I'm gonna wait for prices to drop. Well, again, this is actually the time. So take advantage of it. If you're looking for a great agent here in San Francisco, my contact information is below. As always, if you're liking the content, make sure to give the video a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see in the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.